Hello everyone, my name is Rahul. In the previous video, we had discussed about vacuoles. In this video, we are going to discuss about mitochondria. Mitochondria are double membrane bound semi-autonomous cell organelles where energy production in the form of ATP takes place. They are also known as powerhouse of the cell. Now, why are mitochondria called as semi-autonomous? Because they contain own DNA, contain double-stranded circular DNA and are therefore known as semi-autonomous because they can divide without the signaling from the DNA present in the nucleus. They also contain ribosomes which are of 70S type. So the ribosomes present inside the mitochondria are similar to bacterial ribosomes. Usually plant cells have lesser number of mitochondria as compared to animal cells because plant cells require relatively lesser energy. That is why they have lesser number of mitochondria compared to animal cells. Now the number of mitochondria, it depends upon the physiological activity of the cell. More active the cell is, more will be the number of mitochondria inside the cell. The usual diameter is around 0.2 to 1.0 micrometer and length is around 1.0 to 4.1 micrometer. Now moving on to the structure of mitochondria. Mitochondria are covered by two membranes. One is the outer membrane and the other is the inner membrane. The outer membrane is continuous and it forms the outer limiting boundary of the organelle. The inner membrane, it is thrown into a number of folds which are called as cristae. Both membranes have specific enzymes present in them. So the outer membrane and the inner membrane, they have protein enzymes which are present in them and they are separate in both the membranes and both have different types of functions. So this is the outer membrane which is continuous and this is the inner membrane which is thrown into a number of folds. These folds are known as cristae. The space between inner and outer membrane, the space between the inner and outer membrane is known as intermembrane space. This is known as the intermembrane space and electron transport chain. Electron transport chain, which is also known as ETC. The electron transport chain, which is also known as ETC, operates in the intermembrane space. The space bounded by the inner membrane, space bounded by the inner membrane is filled with gelatinous substance which is known as matrix. The space inside the inner membrane, the compartment which is bounded by the inner membrane, it is filled with a gelatinous substance which is known as the matrix of mitochondria. In this matrix, ribosomes, DNA, etc. are present. Now the inner membrane is studded, the inner membrane is studded with pinhead particles called as oxysomes or elementary particles or F0, F1 particles. These oxysomes or F0, F1 particles, they are the site of oxidative phosphorylation. That is ATP production. Why are they known as F0, F1 particles? Because they have a structure which is similar, something like this. So this part is known as the F1 part, and this part that is projecting inside the matrix is known as the F0 part. So this is why the oxysomes are also known as F0, F1 particles. Now this is a diagrammatic representation of mitochondria. This is the outer membrane. This is the inner membrane. These are oxysomes. This is the ribosome, which is of 70S type. This is the circular DNA. This space is filled with matrix, and the inner membrane, it is folded into a number of turns. These turns are known as cristae. Now, mitochondrial matrix contains enzymes required for aerobic respiration or Krebs cycle. So all the enzymes required for Krebs cycle, they are present in the mitochondrial matrix. So oxidative phosphorylation, that is formation of ATP, which is a function of oxysomes, it takes place in the matrix through the help of these enzymes and through this cycle which is known as the Krebs cycle. And because DNA and RNA in the form of ribosomes is present inside mitochondria, so mitochondria, they divide by fission. Mitochondria divide by fission, that is each mitochondria, it arises from a pre-existing mitochondria, therefore they are also known as semi-autonomous organelles. Now the mitochondrial DNA is 1% is 1% of total DNA in the cell. Mitochondrial DNA makes up 1% of the total DNA in the cell. Now the functions of mitochondria. First of all, mitochondria are the sites for oxidative phosphorylation, that is ATP production. They are also sites for oxidation of certain fatty acids. This is known as beta oxidation. So mitochondria have two primary functions. They are the sites for oxidative phosphorylation and they are also involved in beta oxidation. So with this, we finish off with this discussion on mitochondria. See you in next video.